Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the TripleJump Podcast. It's a video game podcast. My name is Ben.
My name is Peter.
And my name is Ashton.
Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
How are you feeling today?
Good.
Fine. How are you feeling?
How are you feeling?
Fine as
Good.
well.
I'm also fine.
We're all fine?
Good was an overstatement.
Okay, let's not get ahead of ourselves here.
Yeah,
Are
yeah,
we
yeah,
really
yeah.
fine?
We're
Yes.
here.
The important thing is that we pressed record.
Woo!
And this is and we're talking,
Yeah.
and it's being recorded,
And we're getting our energy up by
acknowledging
that.
what's
And
happening.
they'll be put together
Yeah.
in video and audio files, which are separate, rendered out using software,
Yes.
uploaded to
Yeah.
the internet, and listened to / watched, depending on whether you're watching the video version or not.
By you.
That is exciting.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you for being here.
We hope you're feeling good and fine today as well.
All fine.
Or even better than that.
I don't think it's possible.
No.
I don't think anything is greater than this. How are you feeling after concluding your run as an actor last week?
Good?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, just kind of I'm not quite dawned on me that it's done yet. I keep thinking like, oh, I've got to go back and do it again, but I'm not.
No.
Which is good because
You're
I think
free.
it would have killed me off if I had done it again.
It is quite. I was thinking this the other day that, like, how many did you do? 5 nights or 6?
Yeah, 5 nights.
And after, like, all the time that goes into putting these things together, and then I'm not suggesting like, I'm sure you would have loved to do it for like every night for 3 months, but equally the ratio of time to prepare and put it all together
Yeah.
versus and then 5 nights and then it's over.
Hey,
That's, like,
if I didn't
quite-
have a full-time job, I'd have been well happy to do
Yeah.
it. But doing that show every night plus a full-time job, I might have actually passed away.
Yeah.
So,
It's a lot of work.
yeah.
a lot of people work on things like that. All kinds of people backstage.
Yeah. Some of them normal and some of them are a bit strange.
Yeah, are there some a bit strange ones that you've heard about? Or?
Yeah. I've heard anecdotes.
Oh, have you?
I don't think Ashton wants to talk about it.
Oh, no.
She's having a bit of a breakdown now.
I've given an anecdote about maybe one person, but Ben messaged me and was like, some weird people around her. And I was like, yeah, I guess. I mean, there's weird people everywhere, but
Yeah, it's true. They're always weird.
there's always going to
weird
be
people in
at
this
least
room.
a weird person.
Yeah, it's very
Yeah.
true.
He was talking about me. The anecdote was about me, and I'm the weird person.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
it. Let's leave it
Let's
at that.
leave it at that.
So you had a nice party when you finished as well to celebrate. And a little bird tells me that there might be another party today at the time of release.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
don't tell everyone else that there's a party right now. They might try and find it.
How?
Oh,
Please,
There are
how?
a lot of weird people.
I've rented a
that's
village
true.
hall.
Yeah.
Yeah, come down the village hall.
Yeah.
What's the party for, please, Ashton?
It's my 26th birthday today.
6
26.
years old.
Yeah.
Wish I was
Wow.
still 26.
Do you?
In my final
Yeah.
year of
Oh.
my mid-20s.
Oh, yeah. If you reduce the scale that much, I'm in the last. Actually, no, I'm in the first few months of my 30 seconds. Is that right? Can you say that? 30 seconds?
Yeah.
My 32nd year.
Yeah.
Don't
No,
worry
33rd
about
year.
I don't know.
You're in the start of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you completed 32 years. So
Yes.
you're into your 33rd.
Oh, don't.
Sorry.
Gross.
So
Yeah.
you're in the
I'm
last
going
bit
in-
of what?
My 26th year on this planet.
Yes. But what was it that you said before?
It's my last year of my mid-20s because when you get to 27, then it's technically late 20s.
So that's going to be awful.
I
You're
will
gonna
cry.
struggle with that.
Oh, no.
I'm actually
Will you cry?
I'm determined not to cry on my birthday this year. I cry on every single one of
Do
my
you?
birthdays. Yeah. I get very
I've done it
emotional about
before.
my birthdays because I always set very high expectations for myself.
Oh, no.
And they never get met. And that's my fault.
What do you
That's a
expect
me
you
For
this
issue.
like
year?
what you hoped to achieve in the year that's just gone.
No,
or-
like
on the
birthday
day.
plans. Yeah.
Oh,
Someone
right,
would bring a
I,
cake
um,
down from a helicopter or something. Is that the kind
No,
of...
no. I mean, this year I actually haven't set any expectations because
good.
I haven't had the time or the brain space, which is a good thing. Because
Yeah.
normally I'll be like, oh my God, what if this happens? And then it doesn't happen.
no.
It doesn't happen.
You
And then I
can't
get
do that.
sad.
What if that MILF from that show that I like turns up at the door?
What if she's...
Now I would cry.
You can't just incept that idea because now she's going to be sad when the MILF doesn't
when the
show
MILF
up.
doesn't show.
Sorry.
And the thing is, there's so many MILFs you could be talking about
Yeah.
that like...
There are so many options, like so many different pathways in your life, so many branching narratives where it could happen.
Yeah.
So many universes is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Parallel
where it does
universes.
happen.
And you're going to be in one of the ones where it doesn't.
One of the few.
Yeah. comparatively few given
This
how many
universe
MILFs there
sucks.
are.
Yeah.
It's like the Doctor Strange bit from Infinity War. It's like there's only one universe where the MILF doesn't show up.
And it's
And it's
this
this one, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well, we've got you a little something that will help,
A present?
hopefully.
It's not a MILF.
It's not a MILF. That will hopefully cushion. Come on in! That will hopefully cushion the blow of exiting your mid-20s.
Mm-hmm. I'm not exiting yet. That's next year.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Hang
In
on.
a year's, the years lead up to
Yeah,
exiting.
yeah.
I put it so far under the table. There's some decorative paper in
A
there.
little bag.
It's a two-parter. Oh,
A
bonk.
two-parter.
Yeah.
Paper. It's just screwed up bits of paper.
No, that's
No, that's
decorative.
wrapping.
That's decorative paper.
Those are the snowballs.
Yeah.
Sweets. Thank you. Some Sour Patch Kids.
Sweeties.
While you're still a
This
child.
is the third pack of these I have received in 2 weeks, and I love them.
Good.
And they give me a tummy ache.
Your tummy's
Well,
gonna be
everything
happy.
gives you a tummy ache.
3 packs
And what's
of
this?
This won't give you a tummy ache.
A Suicide Squad.
At
Kill
last.
the Justice League.
We knew how much you wanted to play.
Now
it.
there's no excuse not to play it.
So
Oh my god! Thank you so much.
you're so welcome.
I saw a PS5 game in there, and I was like, "What on earth could this be?" And it would not
been
have
Gollum.
been this. It could have
There's
been
no
Gollum.
physical of Gollum. I
No,
don't think.
thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Wow.
Hope you enjoy it. I know you will.
I will.
It's CX's finest. It's not a new copy.
No, don't try and
Obviously.
claim the code in there. It's probably
Damn!
not
I was
going to
going
work.
to say it's got code in
Can't
there.
get the classic skins, but when we were
That's
Give it a
all
go.
right.
thinking,
Someone
Yeah,
might
give
have
it
put
a
that
go.
into their console and immediately thought,
No.
this is flit.
absolutely
I'm not redeeming that code.
There were so many copies in CE.
I bet there were.
Yeah.
But yeah, we thought, what would Ashton like? Well, she really wanted to play that Suicide
did
Squad.
really want
She
to
seemed so gutted when
When you
I
gave
got rid
it
of mine.
CX,
So
yeah.
now you
Wow.
can, now
It
you
could
can
be
enjoy
Ben's.
It
That
could
might be
be.
Ben's
it. It
copy.
could be wrong CEX,
Oh.
but you know.
Well, thanks so much, guys.
You're very
I
welcome.
can't wait to tell you all how I find it next week.
Just started the second season now, haven't they? They've
Wow.
got Lady Freeze in it.
Cool.
Oh.
I can't wait to experience that.
Yeah, I bet you
It's
will.
going to be great.
Bet
I
it'll
didn't
be
know there was a
wonderful.
Lady Freeze.
I'll install
Neither
it
did
tonight.
most other people. I think it was a bit of a shock for a
Yeah.
lot of people.
Is it his sick wife no longer sick anymore?
I think it might
Is that
be.
who it
actually.
is? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, you'll have to tell us, Ashton. when
I'll
you
tell
play
you.
it.
Yeah, I'll
You're
tell you all
gonna have a
about
great
it.
time.
I'm going to spend all day on my birthday playing it. And when people arrive for my party, I'm going to be like, excuse me.
Gather round.
Let's all watch me play Suicide
Lady
Squad,
Freeze is
Kill the
here.
Justice
He'll be
League.
sending us all away. There'll be 6 MILFs at the door, and you go,
Yeah.
no,
no,
please
no,
don't
no.
come
Suicide
in.
Squad.
I was going to do some organised fun, but maybe I'll just play that instead for everyone
That's
to
why it's
watch.
going to be way more fun. for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Well, this unfortunately is not a birthday podcast. This is a video game podcast. And each and every week we're sponsored by a very real video game adjacent sponsor to help us keep the bulb on in this room. Still no Dead Island.
There are
2.
4 enormous spiders in your bathroom.
I haven't seen any of these.
I like how you give Ashton bathroom spider updates, but Ashton doesn't.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Everyone's
in there?
been using my toilet recently.
Everyone's using our upstairs toilet
That's
recently.
true.
So
I think
every time I go
everyone's
to pee,
diet is horrible.
Yeah, someone's having a very long poo.
Somebody keeps using the toilet downstairs and just kind of just making it into a swimming pool
Yeah.
and just covering the floor in
It
water.
was dry
So
when I went in last time.
whenever I go in, I just look at the sea of water on the ground and go,
Is it water?
There are,
I am hoping.
yeah, because it's around the sink. So,
But the sink is right next to the toilet,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
who knows?
there are some very big spiders in your
Cool.
toilet.
I will endeavour to find them.
Can you bring one in here?
Maybe
Yeah,
they're
that
just
would be a good idea,
hiding from me when I go in. Maybe
Yeah.
they're because they're not used. They're using it when they shouldn't
Oh,
be.
it's Peter. Third time this week, isn't it?
There he is. They write it down on a
Yeah.
little spider notepad.
Yeah. I have the sponsor this week.
Yeah.
And it's one.
Oh, good.
So you like puzzles, Ben?
Puzzles.
Yeah.
I love
You
puzzles.
famously
They're
love
my favourite.
puzzles. I love
What
them.
I love is being tested like I'm at school.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
love that. Yes.
When
And
you're
one
trying
of-
to unwind at home.
Yeah, and one of life's biggest puzzles is what's mummy making for tea
I
tonight?
do think that. Yes, a lot.
And sometimes
Yeah.
you got
That
you're
is
ahead of yourself.
The daily puzzle.
Yeah. What's mummy making for tea tonight? And sometimes you need to puzzle your way out of having what mother's made for tea.
Right.
Because mother's made something for tea that you don't
Oh,
want.
the stew pots come
slow
out.
cookers,
Yeah.
Yeah. The slow cooker's out.
Right.
Dad texts you, say, you need to find a way out of this. There's the puzzle. So coming August 2nd is World of Stew 2. It's the second one. The first one came out 2008.
Yeah.
You may remember it, World of Stew. Well, this is the second one, World of Stew 2. You have to build structures out of stew to
is a
escape
puzzle.
To
from
not have
having
to eat
stew.
the stew.
Yeah.
That sounds very
You build it
hard.
and you go to a nice Chinese takeaway dinner instead.
That's what I do in real life. If I come home and there's a steaming bowl of stew on the table, I just stack it up by the window and climb out.
Yeah.
You don't have to eat it if you've built a structure. out of
Yeah,
it.
exactly. However, you will have to eat the stew because it's not real, so you can't do puzzles out of it.
God.
World
I
of-
don't dislike stew.
World of Goo 2 is coming out next week, but
Right.
World of Stew 2
It's not.
shockingly isn't.
That's
Stew.
devastating.
At least in
Stew.
America.
Yeah.
Why don't they pronounce the Y in stew? I don't know.
I don't know.
It's right there.
Why don't they
STY.
pronounce the U in Flavor Hour?
I'm not
as
sure.
well? I don't,
Or Colawa.
Or Colawa,
Fave Hour.
yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
No, we're not sponsored by World of Stew 2. We are, of course, sponsored by our wonderful patrons over at patreon.com/Team TripleJump. If you go there and support us, you get access to a whole load of rewards, including asking questions on this podcast, early access to worst and weirdest games, exclusive access to Rules Boss and Main Menu, tons of rewards and awards. No awards.
There are no awards. That's false advertising.
There are rewards, though. Go check it out, patreon.com/Team TripleJump.
Although the Hall of Fame probably is an award, maybe.
That's
Yes.
true.
Yes.
Yes.
There is an award.
Yes, sort of. Asterisk.
Yeah.
TripleJump is our website. That's where you can find links to everything that we do on YouTube, Twitch, Discord if you want to get a cameo from one of us. TripleJumpShop.com if you want to buy some merchandise. I'm not wearing merchandise
I
today
am.
for the first time in ages.
Ciao.
Nice, look at that.
Good job.
He's doubled up. Great job, guys. So yeah, go check those out. And there is one huge video coming out this week on the channel.
It's so big, I've only watched half of it so far.
Oh my God.
Massive.
I would really love it if you would go and watch the untold story of the entire history of gaming, which is a video that myself and our writer Kat have been working on for a long old time. And I hope you enjoy it. It's available now. It's feature length and chronicles all sorts of high points and low points across the history of video games. And I worked very hard on it. So please go and watch it right now on the channel. Do it after this. Thank you very much. Should we go to question 1?
Yes. It's from Chip Thompson's Thumbs, both of them. And they say, afternoon BAP, hundreds of staff at Bethesda have unionized, which gets a big ol' woo from me. But as 3 people who aren't a dummy like myself and actually work in the industry,
Don't know about that.
What are your thoughts on this? Is it a huge win for those workers and something you'd like to see more studios staff do? Or are there any potential downsides to this? All the best wishes, Chip. Thank you, Chip.
Thanks, Chris.
It gets a big old woo from me as well.
Yeah.
Woo! Can
I
you give
think-
us a big old woo?
Woo!
That was good.
I think that...
This was kind of a sad woo.
Yeah, it was a bit. I'm just a bit stuffed
A
up
balloon
today.
deflating.
Yeah.
Woo.
I think our sort of main response is that it's, as you say, Ashton, a big old woo from us as well. I think that this is overall a very, very good thing. We've said on many different occasions on this podcast that, hey, there should be more unions in the video games industry. These staff get treated like crap. They don't get paid enough. They get like dismissed with, at the drop of a hat. And there are all sorts of terrible practices happening from higher ups in the industry. So this is a great thing. And we have been saying that it should happen for a while. I have, however, brought some devil's avocado drawbacks to unionization.
It's hard to spell.
Yes,
It is
That's
hard to
one.
spell.
I thought you meant avocado. for a
Yeah,
minute.
me too.
That
But
too.
I also.
Someone did comment recently saying, "Did Ben just say devil's avocado?" And someone replied and said, "It's a running thing. They do say devil's avocado." It's
Yeah.
all right.
Just to take the sting out of the bad takes we're about to get. That's why.
Yeah, these are bad takes on balance because I think it's a great thing that unions exist. But
Okay. Make sure you clip this out of context.
yeah,
Yeah.
please do.
I, Peter Austin, say unions shouldn't
He
exist.
hates
Yeah,
onions.
I hate developers. Actually, I just hate them all. Some selfish drawbacks for consumers. Consumers who don't care about developers, which we are not. There can be some knock-on effects if staff cost goes up. So if they're demanding higher pay, which they deserve, then a publisher or the higher ups at a development studio can say, oh, well, our money's, our
profits aren't as high.
Profits aren't as high. We're going to
can't afford a new Maserati this year.
Exactly. I'm going to charge more for my games or my services, or make the product cheaper, like as in cheaper in quality, so that it doesn't cost us as much. And also, if there are strikes, which again should happen if bad things are happening at these studios, then that can affect the release times of our games.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's far more important.
That and a better work-life balance too.
Yeah.
It'll just take longer to make games.
Yeah, exactly. And also some downsides potentially for the staff themselves is that there can be fees attached to unions, so some of them might sort of struggle with that. That does happen from time to time with unions, and also less autonomy. Given that you then, if you're a member of a union, you do kind of have to toe the line and follow the union's rules. So if on the off chance they make a decision that you don't actually agree with or doesn't suit you, unfortunately, as a general rule, you have to go with it. I know someone who is in a union who a year or so ago, their union made a certain decision that they were like, oh man, that really doesn't suit me at all. But that's just, you have to take the rough with the smooth with the union. So there can be downsides to actual staff and members of the unions themselves.
Yeah, I have family members in unions who work in the public sector. And so they're often drafted into strikes and things like that, which I think on the whole they do support.
Yeah.
But, it would be understandable that some might not want to strike because they won't get paid for that day potentially. So it's, you do have to bear that in mind for sure.
I think it's a great thing. I really like to see this kind of thing with developers. I think it gives a lot more power back to those who are actually making the games, which is great. I think we've seen a lot more discourse recently and a lot more awareness in the games industry about crunch and about the treatment of developers and the ease with which companies will sack entire teams. We've seen it with Humble Games this week. They've just sacked an entire team from their their company, and we've seen it a lot. And I think that unions, obviously, they have a few downsides, which those among you who are pro-capitalist in the comments like to tell us whenever we talk about unions. But in general, a collected and collective workforce that all stand for the same things are more powerful than an individual who is just hoping that they'll be able to make some change. So hopefully with this new Bethesda union, there will be a shift in the way that this company works and we will see a positive outcome for them. We've seen, obviously, this isn't the first of its kind. We've seen other unions popping up in other companies. There was the Activision Blizzard union, as well as there's one at Ubisoft.
Sega,
yeah.
Sega
there's a bunch of unions around the place that are popping up more and more. But it's great to see kind of these outcomes still happening and these companies being forced to listen to their workers, because at the end of the day, maybe the games will take a bit longer, but we won't have games at all if we don't have the people working on it. Again, we've talked a lot about AI recently, and I think that there's been a lot more discourse again recently about how people are so willing to use AI in their games, and we've seen discussions about this and about how it's already being implemented. And I think unions are another great way to stop the rise in AI, because not only is it bad for creativity, it's also bad for the environment. So pack it in.
Stop it.
Didn't Google's carbon footprint go up by 48%?
Yeah. It's the highest.
Huge,
Yeah. Because of all the use of AI and stuff. So I think that this is great and I'm glad to see it. And I hope that we see more of these popping up in these high profile companies and we get to start seeing the difference it makes, because boy golly, does it feel like we need it after the last 6 months.
Yeah, for sure. The games industry being as volatile as we all know it to be, I think any kind of protection that can be offered to workers just has to be seen as a win.
Yeah.
Given the alternative is, oh, my email address has been turned off. Oh, I can't access the building. I don't know what's going on. Oh,
better email Jason Schreier.
Jason Schreier has just tweeted that I've lost my job.
Yeah.
And that's how you find out. Anything is better than that. Now, I can't profess to know precisely how this specific union is going to work, and the kind of protections that may or may not be afforded to the people who are in that union. But given that Microsoft recently closed Tango and Arcane Austin seemingly out of nowhere, I think, again, just like having any kind of being part of sort of a unified voice to speak out against this kind of stuff, while it may not be able to prevent, because it may well be completely within Microsoft's legal, rights, even with a union there, to just shut a studio down. I don't know if this union's going to prevent that, but even so, being part of a collective can only be seen as a good thing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You are way more protected in than you are out. And I just think it's great news. So congratulations to the Bethesda folks who have unionized here.
It might at least be the case that a union, while the studio is currently operating, they're able to negotiate certain rights that say, okay, if one day in the future you shut us down all of a sudden,
this is what you will need to get.
This is what you have to agree to now that we will get in terms of redundancy or kind of.
Because didn't we see that with, I can't remember which company it was. It might have even been Activision. It might have even been Microsoft generally, when they cut like thousands of jobs across their entire gaming thing, not specifically from certain companies or shutting them down, where the rights or the employee rights in the UK and the EU and Japan were like completely different to the ones in the US. And the US ones were basically told, here's a bit of money and you're off.
Well, it's part of the reason why unions are, I think, so important especially in America. It's because workers' rights are so different and so not protected by the same laws that we have over here. Like, you can't just sack me with no notice and that's it, I'm done.
Yeah.
There are certain requirements by a company which makes it a lot harder. Sorry about it. Makes it a lot harder.
We've been trying, guys.
Yeah, every time they say, I just say, no, actually don't want to.
Like, damn, she's right.
Yeah, we just
thought if we asked politely, she'd go, but she won't.
Nope. Not unless you pay me the big bucks. But yeah, so I think there's lots of things that protect us over here, and like you say, in the EU. And I do think that, Americans, please get in a union. Please. Please.
I think it's only a good thing. You can criticize the concept of unions if you will, but I don't think you can dispute that working for Bethesda without representation, compared to working with, will leave you more vulnerable. And I just think, it's great. It's nice to see. And until something truly horrible happens with a union in the video game industry, I don't see any reason why it shouldn't be supported to protect one of the most volatile creative industries in the world. So, congrats.
Indeed.
Well, now it's time for a segment in honor of my birthday that we're trying.
Oh?
That's called What We Playin.
Oh,
okay. It's What We Playin time. Time to talk about what we playin. I really wish you'd told us you were getting yourself another present. Otherwise, we would have given you, because it's kind of upstaged what we gave you a little bit.
But I think a self-present's all right.
Okay.
Like
do you feel like you have egg on your face a bit?
I do a bit, but then we can combine them together. And if we do this segment next week, I know it's experimental, Ashton can say that she's been playing Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
So
you better play Suicide
I will have been playing.
Peter, what have you been playing?
I've played a few things this week. I finished Soul Reaver not long after I talked about it on the last podcast. A lot shorter than I remember. Well, I never finished it in the first place, but my memory of it was that this is long and difficult, and that's why I never finished it. And actually, it wasn't very long at all. So, but I had a good time. I have no interest in playing the second one right now. Not that I didn't enjoy it, but I just don't really want to. Instead, I've been bitten by the marketing bug twice this week.
Oh, twice.
Oh, no.
Twice,
You need
yeah.
a candle.
They
special
are out.
candle.
One on each butt cheek.
Bloody hell.
No. But
That's a specific...
And it's your fault,
What?
partly.
Huh?
What have you? You've been biting Peter on the arse.
Listen, I always ask before. It was consensual.
Ben Potter sent me a video the other day when we were at work that had just dropped, and it was a trailer for the new Orcs Must Die game, which is not out yet, I don't think.
They're making a new one. I don't even know they're making a new one.
Yeah, but it's not a numbered entry. It's another.
Oh,
They did Orcs Must Die Unchained, which was like a MOBA, effectively.
Yes.
This one, I don't know if it's a MOBA, but it's certainly an online multiplayer Orcs Must Die game. I have zero interest in playing that. I didn't like Unchained. Just give me your numbered single player entries. but it did make me just go back and play Optimus Die 3 for many hours this week.
God damn it, Ben.
God damn
What?
it.
He likes that one.
There was a portion of time where I remember that all Peter played for about 4 months was just Optimus
Yeah, I think
Die.
I made my way through all 3 of them back to back.
Yeah.
I played all of them. Anyway, I've now really been enjoying that. It's just so satisfying. Make a nice kill pit, and then, 40 little green men walk into it, and then they are just red paste. Brilliant. It's like, yeah, I did a good job. But the other thing, a similar thing happened with a new trailer came out for the next DLC character for Tekken 8, which, spoilers, in fact, I won't spoil it, because it is actually quite a big deal. So go and find it if you're interested.
Is
if
it
you've
an
not seen
animal?
it. No, it's not.
Is it a demon man?
No, it's
No,
not.
okay.
It's a previous character who should have been there. But another previous character who should have been there and wasn't there at launch was Eddie Gordo, the one who does the capybara.
Yeah.
You know, the capybara?
That style of fighting.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I don't know I can't remember what it's
Capoeira.
called. Capoeira, the capybara. And he was a DLC character, and they released him after I'd done my initial sit down and play Tekken 8 and enjoy it. And when we were so kindly sent a code by Bandai Namco, it came with an annual pass. So I get all the DLC characters for free. And I thought, hey, this trailer for this upcoming character reminds me of the 2 characters who've come out who I've not played with yet. So I've had a couple of hours playing Tekken 8 again this week as well, and I really enjoyed that too. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So that's what I've been playing.
Lovely. I played more Fallout 76 while I was busy last week. My boyfriend had played it a lot, and he has essentially, he's 4 or 5 levels ahead of me now, and has rebuilt his house, and it's all nice and plush. He moved his house away. We had next door neighbor houses.
He moved away.
And he moved away. So
Why?
I looked back in the game. I was like, "Where's your house?" He's like, "Oh, I've moved it." And I was like, "What have you done that for?" We had a nice little area to ourselves, but no, he moved his house away, and now he's built it, and it's got a proper big house with plants and defenses, and
Wow.
he's been nerding out while
cool.
I've been away. Now my house looks like a shed. Before his was like this little shack, and I'd built my house nice, and now I'm gonna have to rebuild my house near his
You'll
house.
enjoy
again.
that though. The building's
Yeah, but
all right.
the issue is that I used all of my screws.
The
the
bloody
screws that you were looking
The
for.
screws.
Yeah.
Every time I find a desk fan in that game, I get so excited because it has screws in it.
rarest loot.
Yeah. Well, we were playing it on Tuesday, and they did an update, and it broke the map. No quest markers were showing up. If you were it wasn't that your compass just wasn't showing you where you had to go. It was really broken and weird, and it was apparently broken on everything on Tuesday. So I assume they fixed it now, but I haven't played it since. The other thing I have played is The Sims 4. I played it last night. I made a family. I built a house, made a family, and then I turned the game off.
Cool.
Because that is how you should play The Sims.
Yeah.
I also played on stream, but I kind of want to talk about it. Skim.
Yeah, I saw
The
this released
Shadow
recently. Yeah.
Frog.
How is that?
It's good. It kind of, I think, overstays its welcome a little bit. It's not very long. I finished it now. It's about 4 hours long. And I enjoyed it, but there was a few times where I couldn't tell that I was supposed to be interacting with something, and then I had to hold the button down for it to tell me where I have to go. But it was kind of not always super clear. And a few points I was getting stuck because I was just going the completely wrong way, and I kind of couldn't get back out of that situation. But I did enjoy it, and it's got a lovely art style and lovely music, and it does have kind of a good vibe. But I just think maybe it's slightly too long. But like I say, I enjoyed it, and it was a good little cozy game. There was one point where I did get actually mad because you had to play basically Frogger and jump from boxes on conveyor belts, and I had to do that all 25 times.
Well, that sounds.
And I was eventually I was on stream, and I was just silently trying to do it because I was getting so mad. But yeah, that's what I've been playing this week.
Lovely. I played a couple of things. I jumped into Minecraft, and I played a lot of Minecraft over the weekend. Dug out a whole sort of. The goal was to sort of make a glass dome house. So there's a big glass dome jutting out, which is now complete, and it looks a bit like the Louvre from far away. And then it's just a huge excavated thing. The rooms haven't gone in yet, but we had to put it onto peaceful because the mob spawning was just relentless.
Because you're under an overhang.
Possibly. Well, even when we were above, like, because we're next to a body of water as well, we got little underwater bedroom thing, and the what are they called?
The guys with the
whatever they are.
Yeah,
Guys. Awful. Like it was genuinely really irritating to play. We'd already turned off creeper damage because we'd been messed about by that so many times. But just as soon, it felt like the days went really fast. And then at night, it wasn't just one or two things. It was like an entire army descended. And even during the day, the spiders were like, I don't care that it's the daytime. I'm going to fight you as well. It was really irritating.
You on easy?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. So we ended up putting it on peaceful. And it was nice.
Could you not just sleep through the night? I know that doesn't help with the spiders in the day, but...
Yes, but... we would consistently be hit every single day with, you can't sleep, there are monsters nearby. Because there's so many bloody monsters. And so we'd have to go out and kill them, and then 12 more would come.
Right.
But I quite enjoyed finding they've added the cherry trees to it now, which are really pretty with the blossom and stuff. So and whenever you destroy one, you get like 20 saplings. It's ridiculous.
Nice.
So I was just like planting them all over. So it's just like a sea of cherry blossom. And that was very satisfying. I did enjoy that. So that was the main thing I played. But I also played a fair bit of Remnant 2 as well, the Souls-like shooter, which I started a while back, playing that in co-op. And that was really fun. I had a lot of fun with that. I remember the first one was actually very challenging. A lot of the boss fights we had to do a number of times because they were actually really tough. But I think... maybe the first one didn't have a difficulty option, whereas this one does. And we're playing it on easy because we want to get through it. And we came across a cube boss. So it had a health bar, but it was basically, the boss fight was a puzzle where it was kind of like a labyrinth. And they had these huge stone cubes with weak points on. But where the weak points were would change every time you went in. But the path of the blocks was predetermined. And they would roll, and you had to sort of just get out of their way. And it was so ridiculous. If you shoot the glowing bits, it blasts a hole in the side of the cube, so you can crouch down and you can like sit under it as it rolls over you, or you can just get out of its way. But we spent so pigging long on this stupid cube boss fight trying to learn where the cubes were going to go, so that every boss fight we did after, and there were some cool boss fights like a mob boss, so there was just a collective health bar and you just had to run around an arena and kill loads of things that were coming in. We were like, this is all right, but it's no cube boss, you know? I wish more games were like brave enough to put in a boss that was just a cube that rolled randomly, because that's really fun. That's the most fun boss you could possibly do. But yeah, really enjoying Remnant 2, and I'm looking forward to playing more at some point, hopefully this weekend. So yeah, that's what I've been playing.
Nice.
Lovely. It made me want to go play Minecraft now.
Yeah, me too.
We had our modded Minecraft save, and we've not played it in so long. And you were just telling me about your house. I was like, oh my God, we had like an underwater area too.
It sounds like you're on a real house building kick at the moment.
Yeah.
Between Fallout, Sims and
Minecraft.
Maybe Minecraft as well. Well, this is the one tonight at the time of recording. We're doing our monthly sleepover stream. This is the first time we've deviated to not Minecraft. Otherwise, you could have built something.
I know. I am a little bit sad that we're not playing Minecraft because I do look forward to it every month.
Yeah.
But...
I was saying that yesterday to my wife.
My wife.
So, yeah, we're not playing Minecraft tomorrow, and I'm kind of sad about it.
Yeah, but it's going to be good though.
I'm really excited about what we're playing instead, but at the same time, I have Minecrafted myself out from playing it too much last weekend. So anyway.
Well, it's time now to find out what you could be playing next month with the August gaming forecast.
Can't wait.
Wow.
It feels like there's been a bit of a drought in the gaming sphere for some recently, but the next month is set to bring some bangers, hopefully, with a few kooky indies and some AAA games that have got us excited. So, without further ado, here is your August gaming forecast. First up, launching on August 1st, is absurd Yorkshire comedy game Thank Goodness You're Here. As a travelling salesman, you can take time to see the sights in the bizarre northern town of Barnsworth, in between meeting the odd inhabitants and completing the increasingly weird jobs they offer you. With colourful hands-drawn animations, wall-to-wall double entendres, and lots of weird, give it a go when it launches on Switch, PlayStation 5 and PC. Next up, we have the sequel to 2008 physics puzzler World of Goo, World of Goo 2 that launches on August 2nd. Create structures using the sentient balls of goo and solve each level's puzzles in the follow-up to this very well received game. The lovely vibe and art style will make for a lovely puzzly time when it launches on Switch and PC. Launching on PlayStation 5 and PC next month is action RPG Black Myth Wukong. Based on the Chinese novel Journey to the West and exploring different stories in Chinese mythology, this sometimes Souls-like has you playing as a monkey known as the Destined One as he fights his way through this mostly linear narrative, transforming and magicking his way through. The game launches on August 20th with an Xbox release set for later down the line. Next up, we have Dustborn, a story-driven action-adventure set in the divided states of America. The game follows a band of misfits and outcasts on a road trip across America to deliver a package, all while avoiding the fanatical Puritans and justice that are in your way. Use weaponized words to fight enemies, manipulate strangers, and motivate friends. This gorgeous-looking game launches on PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series on August 20th. Lastly, it's on to perhaps the most anticipated game of the month, Star Wars Outlaws. Ubisoft's new third-person action-adventure has you following scoundrel Kay Vess and her companion Nyx as she explores the open-world environments on various planets, engages with different syndicates, and gives us another look at the world of Star Wars. Combining melee and blaster combat, stealth and speeder traversal, there is plenty to look forward to with this one. And hopefully the standard Ubisoft radio towers we've come to know and love? Won't be making an appearance when this game launches on PlayStation 5, PC and Xbox Series August 30th. That's all for now, but with other pretty indies like The Crush House as well as Concord fully launching in the next few weeks, there is something for everyone. But for now, it's time to get back to the podcast.
Wow. Thanks, Ashton.
That was great, Ashton.
Wow, thanks, Ashton.
Thank you, Ashton.
Thanks, Ashton.
Wow.
It's time for question 2 now. Comes from Janet Wicks. Hey, BAP. This one is from Amy Wicks. Oh my God, plot twist.
Oh,
Asked
on behalf of Amy via Janet.
Wow.
I don't think that's allowed. I think Amy actually needs to sign up as a patron. Yeah. It's not okay.
Yeah.
We'll issue a refund and we will not be asking this question. Anyway, it's weird news.
Since Steam has an option for early access games, do you think this is causing a wave of unfinished and buggy games to flood the market? It feels like half the games these days are early access and often take years to come to fruition. It's like paying to be an alpha tester.
Thank you, Janet/Amy.
Thank you, Amy Wicks.
Thank you, the Wiggses.
I think on balance, people, especially nowadays, they kind of understand what they're signing up for. I think as long as a game makes it very clear that this is an early access game, and on Steam it certainly is very obvious. I think there's a great big button that says early access. Then people these days understand what that means and the risks involved and potentially that the game might never be finished. I think once upon a time, this was a bit more of an argument where people would say, early access, huh? Well, what if it doesn't work? This game's broken and I've paid for it. And, it was a less understood concept because there wasn't so much of it. I think the first early access, if you can call it that, game that I played was Minecraft. I played it back when the version was just in dev. That was just the name of the version instead of 1 point whatever. That felt okay because it was kind of a weird experimental thing. It was as much a tool as a game. It was like it was like just Lego, wasn't it, really? But nowadays, I think people mostly understand. The one downside, of course, is that it's basically equivalent to pre-ordering a game that's not finished. And we've talked before about the issues with pre-ordering. You're financially supporting a game that may go on to do dodgy things, include, the kind of content that you don't want. But then, on the other hand, if it's a kind of a small project indie game on Steam, less likely they're going to then fill it with microtransactions or, do something really heinous. Yeah, I think mostly it's just a case of as long as it's clear, it's not so much of an issue these days.
I think that we've seen kind of the early access game be a big success in terms of like its virality and how many people will pick it up. Like, for example, the game that we are playing on stream this week is Lethal Company, which is an early access game, which went viral. And the same with that content warning. It's a very similar thing. But I think early access games in some ways can be a really good thing for developers and give you that like oomph that some others don't. However, I do see Amy/Janet's point in that there is kind of an excuse that like, well, you know, these are all early access games, but you are still, like you say, paying for the privilege to play it. And I think you get like the free open betas that come with certain games, and you get like the like a Multiversus had like a free. Was it a free open beta when it first launched?
So.
Wasn't it free to play?
Free to play, yeah. And there is examples of this going really well for companies. However, I also think that there are some times where the early access just kind of stays how it is and doesn't ever actually progress because they've got the money now and they're like, you enjoy what you've got, have it. You're welcome.
Have it.
But I also do think that we see a lot of games launching that are not early access that then are kind of the early access model. Like they're like, this is the full game. However, next month we're going to add like a bunch of stuff to it, and then the month after we're also going to fix this bit, and then we're going to add more stuff to it. It's all going to come down the line. I think the early access trend has kind of shifted a little bit, and we see early access sneaking into other things without being labeled, whereas these kind of Steam games, I think that you can see what kind of game you're getting into, like Peter was saying, before you buy it. I think with a lot of these Steam games, like, yeah, okay, maybe it's a bit buggy and a bit silly, and it's not finished, but it's an indie studio that their game's gone viral, and now they're just selling it because they can make money and potentially put it into the game. But I do also think that some people are taking the piss. But it's a matter of, I think, a case-by-case basis, because you never quite know what you're going to get into until you're already into it. But like I say, I think it's a good thing in some ways, but also has shifted.
Yeah. I don't really play much on PC, so I've never really encountered this much personally. But in principle, I agree that the prospect of you are paying for an unfinished game is quite unappealing. However, as you guys have said, if you look at the kind of games that have come through and used the early access model, like Baldur's Gate 3, and also at the moment Hades 2, then it's a genuinely valid approach for smaller studios in order to continue funding their game while also putting out a high quality product that fans are really keen to support at that stage. And then, of course, you've got all the internet smash hit sensations that take off from early access, like Pal World, or what are we playing tonight? I always
Lethal
forget.
Company.
Lethal Company, things like that, where honestly, the sort of the jank that early access affords them is in a way kind of part of the appeal, that it sort of doesn't work quite right and it looks a bit wonky, and that's actually quite endearing and fun. And if they'd have released it like that, it probably still would have had the same success, but clearly they want to do more to it, and I think that's understandable, and respectable to a degree. There are always going to be, as you said, chancers who just take the piss, and you're going to be paying for something that might never come out, which of course is not ideal. But yeah, ultimately I think it is down to the consumer. And it depends on the game in question as well, because I personally would not have wanted to play an early access version of Baldur's Gate 3. I much would have rather have waited for the full complete version that's ready to go. However, a game like Lethal Company, or Pal World, which I feel like, apart from maybe some fine tuning and modes being added and perhaps a coating of paint, are largely exactly the same game you're going to get when it does release in 1.0 or whatever. I think I'd be happy to play those in early access. I'm absolutely fine with that. I don't know if I'd have paid for Pal World though, but I played it on Game Pass. But it's difficult to say. There are lots of different approaches to early access now, and you're right, Ashton, in that a lot of full fat releases do feel like they're in early access, even
Yeah.
though they're saying they're not. So I almost have more respect for games that label themselves as early access, because at least you know what you're getting.
I guess nowadays as well, it's kind of just as Amy says, it is like paying to be an alpha tester, but at least the game is then being tested and bugs are being identified. Like nowadays we have such an issue, even with some of the biggest studios and huge publishers, games being released that are buggy as hell. And that's partly a symptom of games just being, a much bigger scale and more complicated nowadays. There's going to be all kinds of bugs that you wouldn't have had 10, 20 years ago. But, if we're dealing with a small studio here who perhaps don't have a lot of money to put into the project, they're not having to pay actual QA testers if instead what they're doing is releasing it to their community and saying, please help us find the bugs. So it's a kind of a cost-saving thing for them. And it means that hopefully when the final version does release for, say Ben playing Baldur's Gate 3 for the first time, all of the big, problem bugs have been ironed out. Whereas if that was just the first version being released onto any system, it might have been a far buggier experience.
I do, however, think that the role of QA testers is very important.
Oh,
and
for
that,
sure, yeah.
And releasing something into early access to use the public as your QA testers is not necessarily a good thing.
No, it's not a professional avenue.
And I think it depends very much on we're a team of 2 people and we need people to help is one thing. Yeah. But when it's like a kind of a big release of a company that is of a substantial size, then I think that the job of QA testers should be first and foremost. So when the game does launch, you're not having to QA test yourself.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean it specifically in the case of smaller projects.
Little tiny
I know
companies.
you used the Baldur's Gate example, but on a smaller scale, when
obviously those will have been QA tested before it came out into early access for Baldur's Gate and things like that. But it's, some companies will always take the piss and try and find ways to cut costs. And if that is sacking their entire QA team and making the public do it, then
that's
some
a whole
people will do
thing,
it.
rather than being a tiny studio that literally cannot afford to, as you say, it might be 2 people. And it's like, how do we do this?
Yeah.
Maybe we can release it to our audience and see if they can do some bug identification for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If done right, this sort of approach should just create a lot of work for QA testers, in that they will have to go through whatever has been reported, and they'll have to log it, they'll have to liaise with the appropriate team to get it fixed, they'll have to see if they can reproduce it themselves, they'll have to check if the fix has been implemented, it doesn't break anything else. So companies will cut corners, but if utilized properly, then it will just ensure that QA testers are kept very busy to make sure that this stuff that players are reporting is appropriately logged. So but we all know what game developers are like. They're not all going to do that, are they? So, shall we move on to something a little bit strange?
And very current and up to date.
It's weird news.
It's weird news time for some weird video game news. Remember, if you'd like to be featured here in Weird Video Game News, you need to submit a relevant weird video game news story under the relevant social media post that goes out on a Tuesday. However, if you'd like to guarantee a shout out at this point in the podcast, you need to go to patreon.com/Team TripleJump, support us at the appropriate tier, and become a podcast producer just like
Chip Thompson's Thumbs,
GY Goliath,
Nexus Polaris,
Nicole Hansen,
Andy Scott,
Blake Thomas,
Kyle
Geary,
Gary,
Eric
Siu,
Shaman Nomo,
Great Giggity,
Michael Pendlebury,
Katie Garrett,
Hugh Joss,
Gabrielle Philippink,
and Big Money Bobby Pingles. Thank you very much, podcast producers.
Thank you.
Appreciate you all.
Thank you.
You got some weird news, please.
I've got some weird news here. It's from metro.co.uk and was sent to us on Twitter by Cuz at He Is The Cuz on Twitter.
Fan.
No relation.
No, well, cousin, actually.
Yeah.
He is. Not top fan, because it's Twitter. Top follower. Top X. Kenneth Anderson writes this and says, Fortnite adds Tesla Cybertruck as players gang up on those who use it.
Good.
Yeah.
That's the correct response.
Fortnite has just added the Cybertruck as a usable vehicle, but fans are divided, with some swearing to go out of their way to punish those who use it.
I would also do that.
We don't condone bullying, except Cybertruck-related bullying. That's the only
fine.
kind
Yeah,
that's okay.
because that's funny.
Yeah. Fortnite owes much of its success to the fact that it is constantly changing its content with new characters, skins, weapons, maps, and vehicles. That goes for all modes, be it Rocket Racing, Fortnite Festival, or Lego Fortnite, which recently introduced a new cozy mode and a permadeath mode. The latest update, however...
Cozy mode?
Apparently.
In Fortnite?
You're interested now?
I'm in.
The latest update, however, is dividing fans as it adds Tesla's Cybertruck to the game as a usable vehicle, with a portion of the fan base using it, uniting to aim their guns specifically at those who use it.
Clown car.
The Cybertruck will be included in Fortnite version 30.30.
Goodness.
Which goes live today.
That's
Is out of
30.
early access yet, do you think?
Yeah, maybe. Which goes live today at noon UK time. Fortnite proudly revealed the Cybertruck in a teaser video on Twitter, but many fans aren't nearly as impressed. While some are excited, a rebellion has formed to maliciously target those who use the Cybertruck, we know, although the reasons for doing so are mixed.
Because it's funny.
Can we all collectively make a pact that if you ever see it in-game, everyone within that radius stops fighting and targets it, says Binej Yeah on Twitter. The call for unity against Cybertruck users has caught on, with Caius saying, there's an unspoken rule amongst a lot of players that they'll drop whatever they're doing to force a Cybertruck user back to the lobby. It's your civic duty to uphold this honor
Your
code.
Honda civic duty.
Indeed. The Cybertruck is made by Tesla, we know. Earlier this year, Musk downplayed a Twitch streamer's achievement when he beat the infamously difficult Elden Ring using nothing but Morse code via a one-button device. He also claimed he was one of the best Quake players in the world at one point, before the actual best player responded saying he wasn't very good.
There we go.
Fans' disapproval of Cybertruck's inclusion in Fortnite is also because vehicles are a divisive feature in the game in general, with streamer Ninja briefly quitting the game because of them, saying it makes the game less confrontational, apparently. Okay. And if you're planning on using the Cybertruck, be warned that you could be specifically targeted. Have you used the Cybertruck yet so far?
Honk honk down in the comments below.
I have some news. It was submitted by me.
Whoa.
It comes from...
Top fan.
Yeah, no relation. Automaton is where the website is, and it's written by Amber V. Japan is making weird tubed ramen for gamers to eat with one hand.
Oh, yeah.
Japan's food processing giant Nippon Ham has announced an unusual, if not slightly abominable, new product coming July 27th. Just in time for my birthday.
Do you want one?
No,
Tube
I
ramen.
really don't.
You sure?
I'll tell you about it.
That'll be good.
Boost Noodle is an instant ramen product targeted specifically at esports players, with the idea of providing them with a meal to eat with one hand while gaming.
Can you...
I don't.
What games can you play with one hand?
This is what I was
Yeah,
thinking.
it doesn't help.
Packed in a pouch reminiscent of Japanese supplement jelly drinks, or also looks a bit like a yogurt, like the yogurt pouches. Boost Noodle is designed to come close to a proper meal in terms of nutrition, containing konjac noodles, char siu pork slices, and other ramen toppings swimming in a jelly-like seafood and pork bone broth. This is meant to be consumed at room temperature.
I don't like the jelly description.
Gross, eh?
Gross, eh?
Apparently, the tubed ramen was the brainchild of a young employee in their 20s who had
After he was hit by a car.
who has a passion for video games. It took them 2 years to develop and commercialize a product specifically aimed at catering to esports players. Interestingly, according to the Sankei, the popularity of mobile games in Japan has increased demand for food that can be consumed for one hand. Okay, so it's mobile games. So
But even then, I bet a lot of mobile games you have to use two hands for.
Yeah.
So companies are hoping to fulfill this need with new products. Japan has seen other gamer noodles too. We've tried them.
Yeah, we have, yeah.
For example, with the instant food conglomerate Nissin launching 2 lines of caffeinated energy ramen last year.
So is it like a froob?
I'm trying to. So there was a picture on here.
I know what their sports
but it's
jelly
not
looks like.
on
They're like little rectangular pouches that are this big, and they've got a little thing that you twist
I've
off the
seen
top and you
those, like-
squeeze it into your mouth.
Yeah,
I'm trying to,
gel stuff.
look at it in desktop mode because
I'll tell you
so
who's
that's what it
buying
looks
this
like.
stuff. It'll be people like
right,
us.
Yeah, it's just like a sports gel.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It'll be people like us who buy it to make a video about it.
Yeah.
And laugh at it, and it will serve no actual. It won't appeal to the market audience.
Maybe we could make one in main menu.
You know what else you can eat with one hand?
What?
Nuggets,
Yeah.
chips,
Chips.
crisps,
Soup.
chocolate, soup. Yeah, all the classics.
All the classics.
You
This
can
does
eat
not
almost
help.
anything with one hand.
Yes, you can.
really. You
Yeah.
can probably eat ramen with one hand in a bowl. If
I'm pretty
got
sure you
good.
could if you just
If the
Yeah.
food's soft enough, you can use the fork as a knife and then just eat it all with one hand.
Yeah.
There's lots of
And
food
then
you can
slurp
eat
the
with
bowl
one hand.
with one hand.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But would it be as convenient as if it was in a jelly-like substance?
It wouldn't be as gelatinous, certainly.
Yeah.
You
it
could
might
eat
be
a jelly with
tastier.
one hand for sure.
Yeah.
Straight off the plate.
You could eat
Slurp it
normal
up.
ramen with one hand.
That's
I
what I'm
don't-
saying.
Stupid.
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 And
If
weird.
You really put the effort in beforehand. You could tie all the ramen together into one long string,
You could.
put it in your mouth,
And
and
just-
then chew the whole
Just
thing
slurp it up.
like a camel and play with both hands.
Fantastic. You should.
You should
send them
go.
an
You should
email.
contact them. And
One strand noodles.
What,
Yeah.
what I'm hearing is that you will be paid for 2 years to research this.
Yeah.
So you should.
We'll put it in jelly anyway, just for fun. as
Well,
Yeah.
exactly. It's got to have jelly in it. Otherwise, what's the point?
Where's the nutrition coming from?
Yeah.
Special good jelly. I've got some weird news that comes from our video editor, Alex.
Yeah.
This is a
Top fan, no relation.
article written on The Gamer by Sam Woods. It even says by Sam Woods at the top. Excellent. Concord, fails to crack Steam's 750 most wish-listed games after disappointing beta.
Oh, Concord.
Oh, the sadness.
This game
continues.
is so sad.
It's not good, is it? Like the game itself is fine. When I looked at the responses to like tweets about this, a lot of people were saying it's actually one of the worst games I've ever played, and it's like that cannot be true because it is not a bad game. It's just unremarkable, and I think that the hate train has really left the station.
Yeah,
here.
people were
so much so that
jumping
this
on.
game is doomed, not because it's not good, but because the public opinion has decided this is not going to succeed.
The image I have of like, you know, a bunch of creatives spending hours and hours, days, weeks, coming up with like what is, you know, a fairly interesting universe, some fun-looking characters, and you know, like it's a bit Guardians, it's a bit
Yes, it is.
it's a bit Marvel writing, but you know, it's quite good. And then it's like, and now it's a hero shooter, an unremarkable hero shooter. It's like, oh, what a waste!
It is.
What a waste.
It is such a waste. I don't see, even if there wasn't a hate train around it, I don't see a scenario where this game would last longer than a year.
People have only been talking about this game because of all of like the negativity. I think if it hadn't have been so disliked, people would have immediately forgotten about it and it would have just disappeared into oblivion.
It still wouldn't have succeeded. but
No, absolutely
people have
not.
decided that it's the worst
Yeah,
thing ever.
yeah,
So
it's one of
anyway,
those.
here we go. Concord's recent open beta is likely to have been a major disappointment for PlayStation's Firewalk Studios. After a tepid reception upon reveal, the beta scored a lukewarm reception from players and even worse player numbers on Steam. It comes as little surprise then that a peak of less than 2,500 players didn't translate to the hero shooter, getting many wish lists on the Valve-owned storefront. So only 2,500 players played it on all of PC on the beta. When I began my
Isn't
analysis,
that just the peak of the amount of people playing at the same time?
that's true. Yes, that's not. Yeah, that's not.
It wasn't
total.
just 2,000.
It wasn't just
Didn't sound like a
2,500.
lot. It's like, oh wow.
When I began my analysis of Concord's position in Steam's most wish-listed charts, I expected it to be somewhere near the top, given its imminent launch. I didn't expect to have to scroll and scroll and scroll to find where it sat. After pinpointing its location, I counted backward and found that the title was well outside the top 750 games in the wishlist chart.
I counted backwards. What, 700 games?
This guy was also paid for 2 years to research
Yeah.
this article, so a damning indictment if ever there was one. Usually, a successful demo or beta will drive players to wishlist a title on Steam, reminding them to purchase it upon or close to release. This is something that Concord's recent open beta has evidently failed to do. The title's lowly position sees it behind games like the aptly named Dead on Arrival, Gatto Buttered Cat, and Gas Station Simulator's Shady Deals DLC.
Oh no.
Despite appearing positive on social media about the game's beta, this is likely to be another setback for Firewalk Studios ahead of their debut game.
God, if I worked for Firewalk Studios right now, I'd be quaking in my boots.
Yeah.
It's not good, is it? This is a brand new studio, and they were just handed like in that Pirates of the Caribbean film where he gets gets the black mark or whatever.
Black
It's like,
spot.
Black
here you
spot.
go. This is what you're working on first.
Yeah.
And like, thank you.
Great.
At least we'll be employed for 3 years, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awful
We've
situation.
got monthly cutscenes planned, you know, for the
I
next
think it's weekly, to be fair.
weekly.
I think
well, it's
it
worse.
might be.
They've got weekly cutscenes planned.
How many are going to release?
Yeah, well, yeah, they're just gonna have to stop at some point.
Yeah. I imagine most of them are stockpiled now.
Yeah.
Given the
but-
duration of the ones that were in the beta were like maybe a minute.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
anyway,
Hey
this
guys,
is
stop making hero shooters now.
this is going to be a disaster.
It's enough.
It's
Yeah.
really sad, and I feel very sorry for the people working on that game because this was a death sentence for sure.
Yeah.
It's now time, everyone, for the big discussion. It's big discussion time for the big video game discussion that this week comes courtesy of the Gazorpatron.
Sick name.
I welcome our new overlord.
The Gazorpatron.
Good morning or afternoon, Bap. Netflix has revealed that they have 80 games in development that they plan to release one each month, I guess, for the foreseeable future. Of course, most, maybe all of them, are interactive narratives based on their shows, so not particularly earth-shattering, but even so, do you see other popular streaming platforms following suit? Do you think that this will be successful enough that we will see Kingdom Hearts on Disney+? Or do you think no one will pay them and we will quietly stop hearing about it after the first year? Thank you, the Gazorpatron.
Thank you.
I have got right up here from Polygon.
No
written
way.
By Alice. Yeah,
Cool.
it is cool. Alice Giovanni. And they wrote, Netflix is expanding its growing catalogue of mobile titles with over 80 new games and plans to launch a new title each month starting in July. During its latest earnings call on July the 18th, Netflix co-CEO, President and Director Gregory K. Peters stated, "We've launched over 100 games so far. We've seen what works, what doesn't work. We're refining our program to do more of what is working with the 80-plus games that we currently have in development." According to Peters, these new titles will be considered interactive narrative games based on IPs like Emily in Paris and Selling Sunset. These titles, dubbed Netflix Stories, will be available through their own hub on the Netflix app and are largely used to draw attention to the other exclusive content available on the streaming service. While new additions to Netflix's existing library of games are exciting, Perfect Match the Game may understandably not be your idea of a great time. However, aside from its original titles, the Netflix app has a catalogue of awesome third-party titles that are available free to subscribers and include some of the best mobile games currently available. Examples include The Case of the Golden Idol, Crispy Street, Spiritfarer, and more. Are you going to be queuing up to play Netflix games there, Peter? And do you think that Disney Plus will put all the Disney games on it?
No.
All right. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Well, what was I going to say at the start? 80 games. I've done the maths. 80 games at one a month. I imagine they'll increase the pace later on. But if it was at one a month, that would take us to 2030.
I'm going to be dead by then.
Yeah. Well, GTA Definitive Edition is available now on Netflix, apparently.
Yeah.
And actually has
it is.
some quite positive reviews
Goodness.
for GTA, the trilogy of Definitive Edition.
Have you guys played any of the games that are on Netflix?
Yes.
No, I've seen them. Like I know Oxenfree's on there.
Yeah, because
and-
they own that they bought that developer, which is interesting in terms of what they could do with future games. But I assume most of them are only playable on like a mobile device. You
No.
can't play some of them. You can play through your TV. Or
So
It has controller support, but I don't know how it works.
I have played some.
go on in.
I've played one or two on PC, so on the web browser, you can play them on there. However, they have the interactive narrative ones. They released like a Wales Interactive style interactive rom-com, and me and my two best friends got very drunk and played that on the telly using our TV remotes.
And it was live action.
Yeah,
Okay.
like it was just like a movie,
Like
but
a Bandersnatch thing.
yeah. And for the most part, those kind of games you can play on the TV because obviously you just use a controller. They do keep advertising GTA Definitive Edition on like the home screen, but Netflix have recently once again kicked me out of using my mum's account, so I can't actually test those on the telly.
Your mum's playing it though.
My mum's playing it big time. but for some reason they kicked me out on my phone and on the telly, but not on my computer, so I can still play them on my PC. But they do have controller support. I'm pretty sure if you're using a device that you can connect a controller to. So if you're using like a smart TV, maybe, I'm not sure you can connect one to a Chromecast, so I'm not sure that would work as well. But if you're playing it on a PlayStation, if you're watching it on a PlayStation, I think you could potentially play it.
So I've just gone through the app here and I'm looking at Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, the definitive edition. What happens is you click Get Game and then it gives you a prompt to go to the App Store to download it as a separate application. And that is how that works.
Yeah.
They have recently added Too Hot to Handle 3, which is very exciting.
Yeah.
There's a lot of crap on it. Hades is on there.
Yeah.
Is that awesome?
I think it's mostly a lot of crap. I think GTA Definitive Edition is now being treated as their sort of the biggest game on there.
Yeah, none of them are
deal,
like
but...
super huge. There's like a bunch of indies that they have got their name on. There's one, oh God, what is it called? There's one about a young deaf girl discovering music that we've seen a few times.
Okay.
That is a Netflix game and I think is coming to Netflix. I can't remember exactly what that one's called, but the interactive movies and stuff will obviously be like, they'll be interesting to see whether those are just the interactive movies or if they're the interactive narrative things like those mobile games that are called like Episode. Do you know those?
No.
That are like just like drawings of women done well, and then you have to pick like whether you accept someone's apology.
Right.
Or...
Yeah. I was going to talk about that. That's the only one I've played. I can't remember what it's called, but it's like it's a visual novel, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Essentially, but a lot of them, they're really popular on mobile for ages, and because obviously you have to like need a certain amount of energy, so you'd watch an advert and get that amount of energy. But like for the most part, they're just kind of like, do you want to speak to this guy and kiss him, and then you can.
Is that bollocks?
Right,
yeah. So you pick a character, and then there was a Love Island one.
Right.
And yeah.
Yeah.
It just looks hot. I'm just looking at the trailer for it. It's awful. It was so boring when I tried to play it.
I personally would prefer them to, in an ideal world, and this is never going to happen to a decent level of quality. Well, it could happen, but it's unlikely. I would like to see them just kind of become a bit of a Telltale style studio. I don't know if they've got, if it's feasible to kind of imagine them creating their own like really decent first party games. Certainly they can acquire stuff like GTA or Hades or whatever it is and, get the rights to have those on Netflix. And that's something. But whether they're going to be creating like some really good quality stuff for themselves, I think is unlikely. However, they do currently have various deals with assorted video game publishers for IP that they're either already making TV shows for or will be making TV shows for or movies. Would you like a massive list of every video game?
Boy,
that is
would
associated
I.
with
I'd love
Netflix?
that. Yeah.
All right. Stuff that already exists. Or games that have films or TV series. League of Legends, it's called Arcane. Witcher, arguably a book as well, but Castlevania, Far Cry in Captain Laserhawk, Rabbids Invasion is a show, apparently. There's an Onimusha. There was Resident Evil. Didn't go very well. Dota, Dragon's Dogma, Cuphead, Tekken, Dragon Age. A lot of those JRPG ones are anime series, but, there's a few other things in there. And stuff that they apparently are working on to some extent or other. We know more about some of these than others. Tomb Raider, Horizon, Gears of War, Devil May Cry, BioShock, Beyond Good and Evil, Assassin's Creed, and Splinter Cell. All of those have had at least one-line announcements that those are coming.
Yes.
Some of them have had more than that. A lot of them probably will never happen. But what I think would be best, because the infrastructure is perfect, really, you could create like some really good Telltale style games of video game IP that already exists that they're working on. You could make a BioShock Telltale style game, much like they did with Borderlands. Telltale didn't create a Borderlands game as in an FPS. They created an interesting narrative story, as they always do. And I think that given that Netflix by association, the brand association is that you sit down on your sofa and you watch something, and they're already doing these narrative style projects. My dream would be for them to actually say, right, what we're going to do is work with like, Ubisoft or whoever, because that seems to be the person the publisher they're working with the most here, and acquire the rights to make narrative-based experiences about some of their biggest IP. I think that would be the best way to go. As to the other part of the question, do I think that others will follow suit? I think it entirely depends on how well it goes for Netflix. I think it could be really interesting to play Kingdom Hearts on Disney Plus. I think more likely, if that was ever going to happen, it would be a Kingdom Hearts adjacent project available on Disney Plus as some kind of playable experience, or a Kingdom Hearts TV show on Disney Plus, rather than sitting down and playing Kingdom Hearts on Disney Plus. But I think this is going to be the sort of the proving ground, and if it goes well for Netflix, maybe some of the other providers will look into it.
Mm-hmm.
I think Netflix has a lot of interesting IP of its own outside of the video game stuff that it works with. I think that it's got lots of universes and lots of stories that could make really, really good games. And we've seen kind of like the odd Netflix IP branch out into other games like Stranger Things in like Dead by Daylight and stuff. And I think it would be really interesting to see if the studios that they own could do something with those. However, most of the studios that they own, I think they own 4 studios. I was just trying to look and I couldn't find a full list, but I know they definitely own 2 that are quite small studios that are kind of a bit more your cozy games, your kind of more like Animal Crossing or adjacent kind of energy of the games they put out. So I don't know if they necessarily have the games studios under their belt to be putting all that kind of energy into some of these IPs. However, they do have games coming to their library that I think are really great games. Like, I mean, Hades is great. Thirsty Suitors that I played on stream a little while ago is coming to Netflix. There's a bunch of games that are already out on other platforms that are coming to Netflix. And in my head, that's great because it means more people are playing these games and they're getting more eyes on them. I don't know how many people are actually playing these games on Netflix. I don't know if they make most of their money back through people playing the mobile games. Like, the type of mobile games that they have on their app. I don't know how they work on the app because, like I say, it kicked me out. But I wonder if they have adverts for the Netflix TV show in them, or if there are some kind of microtransactions within these games, because a lot of them are the kind of games where there's constant microtransactions. So I would be really interested to see how they've worked their way around that. Or even like adverts where you just have to watch a Netflix advert for 2 minutes to be able to get unlimited energy for 10 minutes or something, which is interesting. I don't think we'll see Disney doing this. I think if we see Disney putting games anywhere, they'll just be selling them. I think that we'll maybe see them potentially like venturing out and making some games of their own under their umbrella so they don't have to share the money with anyone. However, I don't think it'll go on Disney Plus. I mean, Amazon don't put their games on Prime, so I think this is kind of an interesting and unique way of doing it from Netflix, because Prime don't put their Amazon games products on there for Prime users. So I would be interested to see. I don't think Disney will do it, but Netflix, I'm hoping it'll go well for them, because if this is another way that these indies can get eyes on them, I think that's great.
Yep, I agree. I would be fascinated to know how many people actually play games through Netflix, or even know how it works.
Yeah.
Because if I had to question it, and I talk about games for a living and have an active Netflix subscription, and I'm on Netflix maybe once or twice a week.
It's not super clear on the UI always how to access the games.
On my TV app, it's like the first thing I see. I see Oxenfree every time I turn on.
I never see that.
Mine promotes GTA Definitive Edition to me,
or GTA,
like as I'm turning it on. But like once I'm kind of in, I'm not sure how to actually find them in. Like even on PC, you kind of have to go searching a little bit. It's like YouTube's games thing that they've got on theirs. If it's not on your home screen, like where you've like gone on, it's actually quite hard to find the YouTube playables stuff.
No, you're right. Like, although I see it on the
way
splash
in
screen, once I'm logged in, I wouldn't actually know what to do. I guess you just go to the search function and maybe it comes up amongst TV shows.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's true.
So I don't know who's playing this, and I don't know if maybe it could be made easier, because I don't feel like I ever see any game adverts. It's literally only when I go on the mobile, like an app version of it rather than a TV app, that I see this stuff. And even then I'm like, I'm not here for that right now. It's nice to know it's here, but also, again, I'm not the target demo because I don't want to play games on my phone. If I could if there was like a big game coming to Netflix, games that I could play on my TV, then maybe that might be more interesting. But then I've got to hook up a controller to it. And if I can't be asked to do that, can the layperson? Is this really as accessible as it needs to be or can be? And if so, is this maybe potentially a bit of a doomed venture, especially if the vast majority, even just scrolling through there, of the games that were available looked like visual novels. There's flipping tons of them. Yeah. And some people will love those, and that's great, but that's not going to appeal to everyone. And so if that makes up a reasonable portion of the 80 games that are coming, then big shrug. I don't really care for that personally. In terms of what the other streamers may or may not do, I don't really see any of them following suit in terms of including games. If they do, I would imagine that there would be an increase in price. Like I could see Disney doing that, rather than muddying the water with multiple tiers and saying, hey, if you want games, you can get this one, which almost no one will sign up for. They'll just say, hey, you get games now, but it costs £4 extra a month. And everyone goes, boo, I don't want that. So I don't think they'll do that. And equally, both Amazon and Disney are involved in video game production anyway, and I don't think that they would, quote unquote, limit themselves by releasing things on their own platforms. They'd want to take advantage of other places too, so I don't think it would make sense for them to include it within their subscription service. Amazon Prime does include monthly games. It does include some games, but they're just PC downloads, and I think it's slightly different with Prime anyway, because that is so many things. It's not just a video streaming service primarily. It's free shipping. You just get loads of other stuff with it.
And a Twitch sub.
And a Twitch sub too. Prime Gaming, which is where you get these free games from. But again, unless you're in the know, this Prime Gaming to me certainly seems far more catered towards the core gamers than what Netflix is doing anyway, because you've got stuff on there like Baldur's Gate 1, and I think Knights of the Old Republic is on there at the moment as well when I had a look earlier. So I don't see any of the major streamers going the same route as Netflix, because it doesn't really serve them to do that. And by the same token, I'm not really sure how this serves Netflix. I can't really see a user case for this at the moment.
I look at it and it just makes me feel like, why would I trust Netflix to be a good provider of video game experiences? Like, I don't have the association. And I know this is something that they just have to build up to with marketing, and you build these associations over time with your consumer. But I look at Netflix and I'm like, they're a television streaming service. I would not expect them to be able to provide a good gaming service, which might be completely untrue. But it's a bit like, how like EasyJet does easy boat hire and stuff.
They used to do loads. Easy Pizza, Easy Cinema.
Yeah, and it's like, why would I want the aeroplane company, which they're not actually just the aeroplane company, but why would I want them to deliver pizza to me, or why would I rent a boat from them?
Yeah.
And actually, they're probably very good at doing boat rentals, but it's about kind of brand association as much as anything else. And I look at Netflix and I'm like, I'm not even going to try playing games on Netflix because I bet it's rubbish, and it's probably not. But
I think that the games that they are producing a lot of the time are for the girlies and the people who watch TV and play games on their phone. They're for the Facebook mums out there who used to play Farmville all the time. They're for the people who want to watch Too Hot to Handle and play Too Hot to Handle at the same time, because neither thing is very good for your attention span. So a lot of these games, especially the ones that they're making for the shows like Emily in Paris and Perfect Match and stuff, those are games that are designed to be played on your phone whilst watching other Netflix content because
good
they
point.
are mind-numbing and are just plain boring. So you want to be doing two things at once, and
But
that's
80?
what they...
80 games?
Well, again, I don't think all of these 80 games are necessarily brand new games from
No, maybe
Or
from
not.
tied
Netflix.
to Netflix
Some of them are
shows.
like, we've got this game coming, like Thirsty Suitors is coming to Netflix very soon, but is not necessarily a Netflix game. But yeah, I think that the games that you can play on your phone, a lot of them are like just your standard mobile game affair, and I think they're just getting into that market.
I really like Night School Studios, the guys who did Oxenfree and
Yeah.
After Party and stuff. And when they were bought, I was a bit gutted because I didn't really know what that would mean.
Yeah.
But Oxenfree 2 came out on everything, and I
Yeah.
assume it's also on Netflix. So
Yeah.
that's something. But I think you hit the nail on the head for me, Peter, in that if I could choose what Netflix games was, it would just be choose your own adventure, live action stuff,
Yeah.
or just stuff that you can play with your remote control, like your TV remote. That would be perfect. I know not everyone wants that, but I feel like that would be such an easy thing. Well, it's not easy to make that stuff, but you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
it's just so perfect for the format of Netflix.
Yeah.
Anyway, that like the DVD games you used to get with Shrek.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
remember Shrek
Yes,
DVD
yes,
games?
yes, yes.
Yeah, everyone loves those.
Yeah, I think if they want to have any success with this, they're probably going to have to keep it kind of small scale, mobile, or preferably, as you were saying, do narrative stuff. But if not, do it like little mobile games. I think like in a way, although as I say, GTA Definitive Edition is apparently doing okay in terms of reception on Netflix. In a way, I find it a bit concerning that they have gone with a game like that, because it's like, are they going to overreach here? And are they actually thinking ahead? Like, one day you'll be playing Cyberpunk on Netflix.
Stadia.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that could be their undoing. I mean, it's not going to be the undoing of the company, but the whole system could fall apart if they just really bite off more than they can chew. So sticking with little mobile projects might be the best thing to do.
How many tiers do they have now? Because they've got the ad one, they've got ad free, and I think I am piggybacking off a friend's one, which allows them to add another household and gets them 4K streaming. So I just pay a little bit towards that.
Right.
I'm not sure. Citation needed. If indeed games are a part of every single tier, which they may not be, in which case my point that I'm about to make is totally moot. But if games are part of every tier and they decide to start doing bigger titles that require them or necessitate them to raise the price or create a new tier, as I was saying, maybe with Disney Plus, I don't think you'd get anyone signing up to that tier.
Yeah.
I don't think that they would do that until they were certain people were going to pay for it. Like I don't see GTA Definitive Edition as a step in the wrong direction. That game can be played on the phone because it is so rubbish. If they like you say put Cyberpunk, that's one thing, but I don't see Definitive Edition as like a real wow, that's crazy that they've got that. In my mind, it's that no one else was playing it on anything.
Yeah, I guess so.
Let's just put it on Netflix. I mean, Hades is a few years old now, 4 or 5 years old now, and it's just come onto Netflix this year. I don't think we're going to be seeing any huge AAA titles launching on Netflix as well at any time in the given year.
I would
don't
assume.
think so
I would
either.
assume.
I think it's
it would be
fully
a
just
bad
gonna
idea
be
if they did that.
Yeah.
The odd like game that can be played on mobile but can also be played in other places better.
And that's a
like
good
we were
niche.
saying with Apple a little while ago. Like, yeah, okay, you can play this on your phone, but do you really want to? And I think that's kind of where it's going to be. And some people will play it and most people won't, and that is fine.
As long as people are playing it, that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't appeal to me in the slightest, but a way that it could appeal to me is if they added bigger things. And if they start to do that, which I don't think they will, then I think that would be a bad idea.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
increasing prices for the purpose of bolstering probably the least popular part of the Netflix streaming platform is probably not the best idea.
Well, the most annoying thing I think about Amazon Prime is that once upon a time it was merely a like fast shipping service, and if you wanted to pay whatever it was, like 40 quid a year or 80 quid a year, and you knew that like I'm always ordering stuff last minute, this will pay for itself after a year, then great. But now it's in fact, yeah, it was never 80 quid just for the shipping, but now I think it's, or it has been at some time, £80 or more for an annual thing. Maybe it's more than that. With loads of stuff thrown in. And I'm like, I don't want all of this other stuff, apart from a free Twitch sub to subscribe to Team TripleJump.
Absolutely.
But I don't want all of this bollocks. Please let me go back to what I used to do, which was pay, I think, £40 a year for
just shipping.
good shipping.
Yeah.
And you can't do that anymore, and it's not an option.
And you're getting the emflipification of all of it anyway. With Prime Video now, you've got adverts, you've got to pay extra to have no adverts. So you've got all this extra stuff too, but we've made it kind of bad.
Yeah.
So, great.
What would be really annoying is if Netflix decide, hey, we also have games now. We're putting up there is no tier where games aren't available. You will all be paying a little bit more now that we've added games to our library. I mean, again, I would hope that they just wouldn't do that, and they would always leave at least one option that is cheaper and doesn't include the games, or they include the games and they don't put the prices up as a result. But yeah, if they did an Amazon Prime and said, hey, here's this compulsory extra stuff you have to now pay for if you just want to watch Netflix shows, that would be really irritating.
Yeah.
Yes.
They can't do that.
No.
Do you enjoy visual novels about dating people on an island? Let us know in the comments below. Thank you so much for listening and watching us today. There's a few places around the internet you can find us. Peter's going to tell you a couple of them now.
You can find us at youtube.com and twitch.tv/Team TripleJump. Almost all of our streams happen on Twitch, occasionally on YouTube for special occasions. And all of our videos, of course, go out on YouTube. And if you have got Amazon Prime at that extortionate price, get your money's worth by redeeming the free Twitch sub against Team TripleJump. You get all the benefits of being a sub at no extra cost.
Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, on all of which we are at Team TripleJump. Why not give us a follow? And if you'd like to support us, it's patreon.com/Team TripleJump.
Our website is triplejU.mp, triplej.mum. Did I say triple with CH?
I don't know,
I think he says
homie.
it right.
Okay, good. triplej.mum. Go there. That's where you can find links to everything that we do. And why not leave us a 5-star review on your platform of choice? It helps something to do with Al Gore's rhythms, and we'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Ashton, are you with a sponsor there?
Don't come
There
home.
he is. Sorry. Dead Island 2 the Spider. I
Found
see
him.
him. He's just down there to the left of the
Safe
cupboard
from
door.
him.
You see?
See him? No. Mother's
Well,
got
he
the
is there.
slow cooker on. In World of Stew 2.
Oh, no.
Don't come home.
All right.
Happy birthday, Ashton.
Thank
Happy
you.
birthday, Ashton.
Thanks
Thank
for listening,
you.
everybody. We'll see you next time.
Bye.